We've got the latest on Josh Rushing and his recent visit to McNeese.
In a language older than dirt, or better known as the first language, the Arabic phrase for the island or the peninsula is called Al Jazeera. We live in a media news bubble. Contrary to most popular American beliefs, television network Al Jazeera-English is not what some people call terrorist TV.
Because we exist in this island, it's not subject to the BBC asking tough questions or Al Jazeera asking tough questions. We're able to say Al Jazeera is the voice of terrorists and have no one here question it because we exist in this island. Around the rest of the world, if you look at brandchannel.com, they look at brands, all sorts of brands, from Starbucks to IKEA. Al Jazeera is the most recognized and influential media brand in the world.
Last month, the McNeese Banner Series was fortunate enough to have this native Texan, Josh Rushing, come and speak on the lecture circuit.
I'm from Texas. Grew up in a little town north of Dallas. My parents moved to an even smaller town now called Lone Star, Texas. Mom's mayor, dad's fire chief. Not because those are good paying jobs, but because they believe in civic service.
As a Marine Corps captain, Rushing became a military correspondent and is now a journalist from Al Jazeera-English, a 24-hour English news and current affairs TV channel headquartered in Doha, the capital city of Qatar.
But I don't regret that life has put me in this position. I mean, I'm absolutely as lucky as you can be because I get to live a life of meaning every single day. I mean, it's a real purpose for me to come to places like Lake Charles and get to share this kind of message.
Rushing has become the face and voice of Al Jazeera-English, helping to bridge the gap between America and the rest of the world.
These were the three main things I knew about it. That they were the mouthpiece of Al-Qaeda connected with bin Laden. And it ends up becoming, very quickly, not only the largest media channel in the Middle East, but as Thomas Friedman of the New York Times said, the largest political movement of the Middle East. What happened was the people of the Middle East latched onto it as their voice. Finally, it was a voice that represented them rather than the Mubaraks of the region. It was finally a voice of the people. And it was the first time they had that. They show beheadings. Turns out they never, ever had shown a beheading. And that was just gospel in America. I mean, Rumsfeld, my boss, was saying it all the time in the press. They show beheadings over and over again. I've been on O'Reilly. I mean, this is a guy who knows everything about the media, right? And he said they show snuff films. You name it, everyone in America believed that. And it's not true. As a matter of fact, not only have they never shown a beheading, they never will. It's part of their code of ethics. And that they had a website called AlJazeera.com. And it was in English, fortunately, because I couldn't read Arabic. AlJazeera.com is probably the leading source of misinformation in the world. Well, the fact is, and you can check this out yourself, Al Jazeera, it's a very common word. And there are businesses across the region that are named Al Jazeera. Everything from tea shops to taxi cab companies. In fact, I've flown on Al Jazeera Airlines. None of these have anything to do with Al Jazeera, the satellite channel. It's just a common name that they use for businesses.
Josh Rushing is passionate about Al Jazeera-English containing news that matters, while America's news program's general purpose is to make money and take up time with celebrity nonsense.
Now, on that night, Nigeria was having presidential elections, there were floods in Asia, and Pakistan's going down in flames. Pakistan has real nukes, absolutely confirmed, and we know it, and they say it, and no one questions it. They don't have possible ties to terrorism. They have Al-Qaeda. If you have watched what has happened there with the assassinations, the bombings, the inability to come together with an effective coalition government, you should have legitimate concerns about what the U.S. government calls the real nexus of terror, where nuclear weapons meet Al-Qaeda. That is happening in Pakistan, right before our eyes. That's what's going on when we're watching Paris Hilton. So, did we inform the democracy about the impending elections? Did we inform them about their civil liberties shrinking? Did we inform them about the threats that are happening around the world during that hour? No. But they did the right thing. They did the right thing because that's why they exist, is to make profits, and they did it in a big way that night.
Josh Rushing's message includes not only to seek the truth and educate yourself about the world, but to travel and understand the world, to become part of the global community.
It's so important for college students to travel overseas, have a passport, half Americans don't have a passport. Get a passport and then use it. In doing that, you will be better in business if you're an MBA because it's a global economy. You'll be a better farmer because you understand how the American breadbasket feeds the world. You'll be a better journalist because you'll understand the world. We have so much more in common with the rest of the world than we have in difference. That if there's a way for us to move forward in a more peaceful way, that it's got to come from that very root of understanding that they love their children like we love our children.